welcome in to Check the Mic. Steve Palazzolo, Sam Monson, live on YouTube.
From the other camera.
Mock Draft Monday. That's right. Mock Draft Monday. We're on a plane right now, on our way to the Super Bowl. But it's time for a little mock draft. We were leaving a mock draft during our travels.
Leaving one, yeah. Leaving it behind for you.
Yeah.
While we
because
ride
you guys,
on a plane
you need
for a
something.
long time.
You need something on a Monday morning. We'll do our Super Bowl preview either Wednesday or Thursday right here on the YouTube channel. But right now, let's just get back into mock draft season, post-Senior Bowl mock draft.
A lot of important changes with having been to the Senior Bowl for a week.
Are you just going to start picking all the players you like in the first round?
John Carroll.
There's actually not
5
that many.
overall.
Not that many changes coming out of the Senior Bowl. But we'll do it anyway. All right, quick hitting. We're flying through it. Thought exercise, getting used to the players, the fits. We have a couple more answers as far as the coaching carousel goes that might influence some things. Ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. You're running the sim here.
Yep.
I could see it.
I believe I've started the sim, so the Raiders are on the clock.
Fernando Mendoza.
Again.
Number one. I think he'll be number one in perpetuity.
Yeah, I mean, that's not – Fernando Mendoza is going to be number one every mock draft we do unless or until we decide that there is a trade on the table that we're willing to do, trade out of, to make happen, to get out of the number one pick. You know, somebody else for shits and giggles trades up to number one, and we decide that's going to happen. But that's not happening now. So
it's not happening now.
The Raiders are drafting Fernando Mendoza.
As of record time here on a Sunday afternoon, you guys hearing it on a Monday morning, it does sound like Clint Kubiak is the favorite to land the job after the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got the Kubiak Shanahan outside zone play action scheme, the same thing Darnold was just running on the way to the Super Bowl. Should be a good fit for Mendoza. Same types of throws. You're not relying on QB run game or anything that Mendoza doesn't do. And whether it matters or not, Tom Brady was in person for two really well-run games, well-called games by Clint Kubiak, and I wonder how much that influenced the final decision for the Raiders.
Yeah, now the Raiders just need some offensive line.
So that'll be in future rounds. But for now, take Mendoza.
They'll be hoping that by the time they get to the draft, they'll have done some of that work in free agency already.
So Mendoza number one to the Raiders. Let's do it. Jets at number two. We did not get Reuben Bain at the Senior Bowl. We were kind of hoping to at least
find out his arm length.
At least get some arm length.
Didn't even do that.
Until I get it confirmed that his arm length is obnoxiously small, I feel like he's the guy for me at number two.
Other people aren't going that way, though.
For the Jets. I've seen Bain down at 9, 10, 11. I've seen people all over the place. I think he's a multi-position disruptor. More so than the other edges, David Bailey, Arvell Reese. I'm going to take them in the top 5 too, potentially. But we're talking different style players, and I trust Bain the most at this point in the process. In my process right now, I trust Bain the most.
Who are the other people putting it to if Bain isn't the guy?
So you're getting Arvell Reese, the linebacker slash edge out of Ohio State. The thing I'm going to keep coming back to is he just doesn't have a whole lot of edge reps. I don't want to take a pure linebacker at 2 or 3 in Reese, and I don't think he's a great pure linebacker, but he has high-end potential as a pass rusher, as an edge setter. He just didn't do that full-time at Ohio State, so therefore it's just
that sounds a little bit like the Jalen Walker projection, but higher.
Yeah, Walker did it more than Reese.
But it's the same sort of discussion, but what if we took that guy at 2 overall?
And then different style player, because Reese is more of a power edge type, whereas Walker is more, bendy and explosive. And then you have a guy like David Bailey, who is explosive, really quick and twitchy, improved against the run last year, moving to Texas Tech, but just a different style. He doesn't have the same kind of power that like a Reese or a Reuben Bain would have there. I don't know if there's anyone else at 2, because it's not like receiver talent is high enough that you want to take somebody in the top 5. Offensive tackles, the Jets are good at tackle, but there's not a lot of tackle talent that you love in the top 5. Again, it's just not high-value positions, blue-chip type of players in this draft. So I would go Bain here.
Yep.
For the Jets.
Done.
And then the same guys that we just debated, they're up number 3 and 4 here for the Cardinals and the Titans. The Cardinals, I can't remember if I did this. Did we give them a tackle last time?
No, I don't remember.
Because it would be a bit of a stretch or a reach. I think they still need defensive playmakers. They're going to have Mike LaFleur now as their head coach.
We gave them Marvell Reese last time.
We did give him Marvell Reese. I don't know if that changes here.
I was watching Danny Heifetz from the Ringer Fantasy Show basically said the Caleb Downs conversation is going to be the same as the Kyle Hamilton conversation. Not that they're the same player, but when you remember the Kyle Hamilton thing, the entire conversation all the way through the draft process was, this guy's probably the best player in the draft, but how far down the first round does he go because he's a safety, right? And now, number one, it was borne out exactly that way, that Kyle Hamilton is one of the best players from that draft and one of the best players in the NFL, period. But also actually seems to make that much of a difference within the defense as well, no matter where you play him.
Right.
He's not only shown that he was as good as everybody thought he was, but actually he's shown that he would be well worth. Remember, at that draft, we were like, could the Texans take him at 2 or 3 or wherever they were? Either 2 or 3. I forget which pick exactly. But we were like, could you take him 2 or 3? And then the answer was, no, of course not. That would be ridiculous. And he ends up sliding way down the first round. But actually, if they'd taken him at 2 or 3, you wouldn't be looking back at that and saying, man, we wasted that pick. You'd be like, we got a defensive player of the year caliber player at 2 or 3 overall. This is a good pick.
And we said the same thing that year about Derek Stingley or Sauce Gardner.
Right.
Why can't they go at number 1 instead of forcing
Right.
Trayvon
Why is
Walker?
a cornerback never in the conversation for number 1 overall?
Right.
So I asked that as a long way around of saying, how high up this draft should teams seriously be saying in a draft absent blue chip players, the one blue chip you're pretty much certain of is Caleb Downs?
I think
even though he's a safety and even though he might not have the same style of versatility that Kyle Hamilton has, why can Caleb Downs not be worth the top 5 draft pick?
Yeah, reframing your question, it's like how far down can you take what feels like a really safe, good football player who could be the very best football player in this draft? How far down are you going to go safe rather than upside plus the positional value aspect is a scarcity thing and a financial thing, right? It's like when these guys are getting paid, a David Bailey or an Arvell Reese feels like a steal financially versus a safety. So we'll have those discussions far more in depth, but I still think he's going to go in the second half of the top 10 Downs rather than the top 10, the top 5, I'm sorry. So I think you're going to get Reese and Bailey, maybe a Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson, one of those receivers sneaks into the top 5 above Downs.
Because it does feel like every time we have this conversation, it's the player would have been worth taking wherever you were saying, well, could you have taken him X spot?
The players who come to mind
Quentin
are not
Nelson.
just Kyle Hamilton. Derwin James, who went 17.
Yeah.
Brian Branch, who went in the second round.
Quentin Nelson
at 6.
I mean,
at guard.
Some people were asking the same thing about Linderbaum.
Yeah, so you're talking about a blue chip, lower value position.
Yeah.
And when we say blue chip, it's like there's enough of a consent.
Like
your own
basically
evaluation.
everybody is certain that this guy is one of the best players in the draft. The only concern is he plays at a position that's seen as an undervalued spot.
Jamal Adams went 6, I believe. I think he's like one of the strangest evaluations because his first 2 years were as good as Derwin James, if not better, in a true safety role. And then it's like he became a linebacker only as a safety. And eventually be converted to linebacker later in his career. So that's the only other, that's the riskier side of things. I don't know, man. I think I'd rather go. Last thing, really quick. There's also, if you didn't take Kyle Hamilton, if you're the Ravens, you'd say, well, okay, the third or fourth safety can get you a fraction of Hamilton's production, even though Hamilton's really good. It's harder to get a fraction of first round edge rush value or pass rusher value later on.
I don't know. Look, Kyle Hamilton is genuinely special, so maybe this is not the most representative comparison, but I don't think there's a player you can take in the mid-round somewhere that gives you even an approximation of a fraction of what Kyle Hamilton does to a defense. He changes that defense. He fixes entire individual units depending on where you want to play him. If your back-end secondary is extremely leaky, you play him at free safety, it immediately solved, right? If you're not getting pressure at the line of scrimmage, you put him up at the line of scrimmage.
I don't know.
Suddenly you've got a jack-in-the-box dynamic player there.
Get it.
Or you put him in the slot, and suddenly you take away tight ends and slot receivers. There's nobody you can pick in the third round that even affects.
But you're right. Hamilton might not be the best proxy for
But
that.
that's what I'm saying.
I
So
think
if you have a guy-
Eamon is the better proxy, even though Eamon is probably a better athlete than Caleb Downs. You're talking about a similar type of player who's going to be in and around the line of scrimmage, excellent run defender, sound tackler, good coverage player, cover tight ends, play zone, have an Eamon type of impact. And I think it's more of high level if you do want to play more nickel and dime and trust your safeties to bring linebacker type of ability, Downs can do that. So if you're the Cardinals, if you're the Titans, if you're the Giants, and you're willing to play like that, then Downs might have a little bit more value there.
I can see why in some years where there's a ton of blue chip players, you would say, okay, we pass on the non-premium position blue chip players in order to take a different blue chip player at a more valuable position. In a year where you're like, there aren't blue chip players, I think the discussion for a guy like Caleb Downs becomes harder and harder to justify passing on them. Like, he's one of those guys where, like, you spend several years in college being like, well, obviously this guy's the best defensive player in the nation, effectively. And then you get to the draft, you're like, but we take him at 20. What? Why?
So where do you want to go here for Arizona?
I mean, look, I would, if I'm in a war room, I'd be asking that question and to annoy everybody every pick from now on. But one of the edge rushers, Arvell Reese, does make sense. I mean, I don't think they're going to add a wide receiver based off who they have and who they've got coming back. So, and they're almost certainly not adding a running back. Corner, like, is this too high for a corner or a tackle, right?
Yeah, I think the corner is the sweet spot there is going to probably end up being 10 to 20 as far as like a run, ideally. And then tackle is going to be the other interesting one. I think Arizona could use a starting right tackle. All of these tackles are probably valued more in the teens as well. But I could see them, just like the Paris Johnson thing, if we remember, they wanted to take him at 3. Same thing. Like he was expected to go in the teens. They wanted to take him at 3. They took him at 6 after trading down, and he's just become a good, dependable starting tackle. But I could see them maybe looking that way as well. I might stick with just Reese here at the top, where I'll have questions about the conversion to full-time edge. But, this is a prediction mock.
See how close we can get to just repeating our mock from the
do you want to change it up?
No, I already clicked the button.
All right. And then part of me just really thinks the David Bailey fit for Tennessee makes a lot of sense, especially with Saleh there now.
Yeah.
If you think about him taking Will McDonald a couple years ago.
So that's new from our previous mock. Number one, if we go David Bailey, that's new. But number two, Robert Saleh is now the head coach. That wasn't the case when we made the first.
I love that fit. I think if Tennessee comes away with Reuben Bain or David Bailey, and depending on how you feel about Arvell Reese, again, I feel like I'm 3 months of this. I feel like I'm going to be lower on Reese just because I don't like the uncertainty. There's the upside, but it's uncertain. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to probably couch all of my discussions around the uncertainty of Arvell Reese becoming a Reuben Bain, becoming a David Bailey off the edge, because it's still a projection. So I think David Bailey is a really good fit here for Tennessee.
Yeah, and I think Saleh becoming head coach does potentially change. Like, I would be saying they really need to try and add an impact receiver in the first round to go with the young quarterback, whoever becomes head coach. But Saleh, as a defensive-minded guy, as a guy that wants, horses up front as a pass rush, you could imagine him going, I can get a receiver in the second round.
Yeah. I would do that, though. I would go Bailey. Second straight year, by the way, Daniel Jeremiah, who we saw down at the Senior Bowl, hung out with him for a few minutes. Mm-hmm. 11 receivers in his top 50, always, every single year. Now, it doesn't always work out that way, that they all pan out, but there does feel like there's just a lot of depth in the second, third round range at receiver again. And I think Tennessee will have to look that way on the turn.
We say that every year, right? You're unlikely to ever really get years anymore where you're like, there's no receivers. Yeah. There's going to be millions every year just because of the nature of college football.
Yeah, scarcity is a huge impact. Like when I'm talking to teams, they talk a lot about the scarcity aspect of positions, and they talk a lot about, they tier it, right? Once you run out of a tier, you go to the next tier, and you don't want to have to do that if you don't have to. All right, so we're going to go Bailey at 4 to the Titans, Reese at 3, Bailey at 4, Giants up on the clock. The Caleb Downs discussion at 5. you're going to hear a lot about John Harbaugh getting his Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah.
You're going to hear that a lot. I can't remember what we did last time with the Giants, but I think that fit makes sense. And if anybody in the building who happens to have personnel control, John Harbaugh, can make the case for the impact of a high-end safety, it'll be John Harbaugh.
Yeah, and again, I want to separate the comparison of them as versatile players and potential impact defensive backs or impact safeties in name with the specific skill set that Kyle Hamilton brings to the table versus Caleb Downs. Like, I think they're different types of player. But yeah, like that's the comp is, is Caleb Downs versatile and special enough to make a Kyle Hamilton type of impact on your secondary, even though he's nominally a safety, which we see as a lower valuable position? I think the answer can be yes.
Did we go tackle here for them last time?
We did. We went with Spencer Fano.
Tempted by that. I think we go Downs. Let's go Downs here on this version.
Nice, I like it.
So Downs at 5 so that John Harbaugh gets his Kyle Hamilton. That'll be the discussion.
Do you have a comp for Caleb Downs that isn't Kyle Hamilton?
It's Brian Branch. Different body types. I got to watch a little bit more Downs, but when I watch him run the alley, tackle, right place at the right time, just good overall football player.
I forget.
It's Branch.
I forget who he referenced, but Heifetz, when he was talking about this, referenced somebody else whose comp was, he said something like, Downs is somewhere between Ed Reed and Brian Branch. Now, obviously,
I have to watch because I don't know how many.
When you're bringing Ed Reed in the conversation, you're doing something pretty out there. But
I don't know if Downs has like the true free safety type of reps. That was why I don't want to reference Hamilton, because Hamilton had like insane free safety reps. And by the way, don't forget the Hamilton discussion involved him running like a 4.59 at the combine.
Didn't help the argument.
And I don't know if Downs is going to run that fast either, and that's going to be the same thing. And Derwin fell to 17. Derwin James might be the better comp. You have Derwin had 2 unbelievable years of production with 1 injured season in the middle of it, of course. Downs has 3 really high productive seasons, freshman year at Alabama, sophomore and junior year at Ohio State, just great production. So it's like a Derwin James, Brian Branch type of closer to the line of scrimmage dependability that he's bringing to the table. Hamilton, the only reason why Hamilton's going to keep coming up is because Harbaugh made do with him. And, he's like the best safety in the league, and you would want to have a best safety in the league type of player in the top 10.
Yeah, but he's also such a great example of how like everybody was so convinced that he is one of the 4 or 5 best players in that draft. Yeah. But at no point was he ever really in consideration for going in the top 5.
And it was a similar draft where there weren't quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Trayvon Walker went 1. We all agreed Hutchinson should have gone 1.
Right.
But after Hutch, it was like, all right, you got a couple elite corners and Sauce and Stingley.
Literally, number 2 was where we were like, number 1 should have been Hutchinson. And after number 1, it was like, who?
Just
anybody.
Drop a good football player.
Like, all bets are off at this point. You could put, and we were like, because normally it's edge rushers and tackles. In non-QB drafts, the guys that go to the top are edge rushers and tackles, maybe defensive tackles. But those guys, there weren't guys that we felt great about because it was Trayvon Walker and, other players. So we were making the arguments. Why do we not talk about corners going number 2, number 1? Why do we not talk about wide receivers going up here? Why do we not talk about Kyle Hamilton going up here, particularly given that Hamilton is clearly one of the best players in this draft? That's why I think the comps belong with Downs. I think the stylistic comps are not helpful, but it's the fact that incredibly clean consensus player who everyone thinks is awesome, and yet we're looking for reasons to drag him down the draft order.
Yeah, I think that's all a fair discussion. The one other opinion that I'll probably repackage during draft season here, this could be a draft. Remember my 2022 draft take? I thought that the Eagles trade for A.J. Brown, that was the best use of a first-round pick. I think I was right. It's between him and Hutch. Hutch, and Stingley are probably the best uses of first-rounders off the top of my head from that year.
Or Hamilton.
But this year could be similar, right? If there's indecision about if you can find a trade partner and get an established NFL player in this year's draft with a first-rounder, this would be a year to do it. Whereas like 2 years ago, there was like high-value positions with the first 15 picks, QBs, pass rushers, tackles. You don't have that right now. Browns at 6. First of 2 picks here for the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
Did we go tackle for them last time?
Last time for the Browns, yeah, we did. We went Francis Maui
Noah.
Maui Noah. How are we getting an N out of that?
That's how they do it. Maui Noah, Spencer Fano, two of the top tackles on the consensus board, 4 and 7 right now. So consensus board still has them in the top 10. I do think the Browns just have so much work to do on the offensive line. Like, I wouldn't hate if they came away with 2 offensive linemen in this draft. Are we ready to take a QB this high? I think for most of these teams, we're going to wait on
We don't need a QB. Todd Monken, they were trying to draft Shedeur, so it's all good.
He's good.
It's all good.
He's got a Pro Bowl quarterback. We need protection.
For our Pro Bowl quarterback.
Exactly. You just finished my sentences now. Like a good podcast show duo here. We went Maui Noah last time. I'd go Fano here. Spencer Fano.
There he is.
He's a little bit further down on that board.
Utah.
There we go. Spencer Fano. I'd go tackle here. Now, do you want to get a tackle later? Maybe. Maybe get both Utahs. Did we do that last time too?
Both Utahs.
Both Utahs. I'd go Fano.
But this is like they're probably looking, assuming they're not taking a quarterback once Mendoza's off the board, they're probably looking tackle/wide receiver in those 2 picks, right?
Yeah. Receiver would be interesting here too. If you haven't pressed the button. Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, and Mekhi Lemon all battling for the top spot at receiver. It's one of those, I think I like Lemon the most at this point in the process for me.
Well, I think the lesson
he's going to feel he'll feel the worst. He's at 16 on the consensus board. He'll feel the worst.
Yeah. The lesson is obviously to take the second best Ohio State wide receiver at all times.
At all times. Assuming Ibuka bounces back here. So Carnell Tate versus a tackle is an interesting one, and I think you might have some tackle options with the second first rounder.
Yeah, because
Tate's at 5 on the consensus board.
Because they pick in the first round again. It's not like they're coming back in the second for that guy.
Do you want to go Carnell Tate?
Sure.
On this one? All right, so Ohio State receiver Carnell Tate, a weapon for Shedeur, Pro Bowl quarterback.
The best weapon because he's Ohio State's second best receiver.
Exactly. Let's go Tate here for the Browns. That puts the Commanders up on the clock at pick 7. Another team, I think they would want corner help, any kind of defensive line, pass rusher help, and then receiver's another interesting one for them to have Terry McLaurin complement.
Yeah.
With Debo being more, gimmicky type of player and maybe not like a true wide receiver too.
And, kind of getting up there in age at this point. Yeah. Still with some injuries. Yeah, you definitely, they wouldn't be crying out for a receiver, but you certainly wouldn't say we can't add somebody that can make an impact to this.
I think they would love an edge rusher, but a bunch of them go off the board early.
Right.
Consensus board, we'll have the Keldrick Falk discussion. He's at 13 on the consensus. Cassius Howell's 22 on the consensus. Falk, great run defender, okay projectable pass rusher, but that just means he hasn't done it yet.
How high do you think somebody like T.J. Parker put a stock with the Senior Bowl? He was one of the sort of consensus winners of the week.
I think it's higher for me
because going up against some not great offensive linemen necessarily.
I think it helped. It helped Parker. He's up to 26 on the consensus board. I still feel like, I was talking to some people who see him closer to like the 20 to 35, 40 range. So back end of the first and into the second where there's a lot of similar grades on players. I don't think that gets him up into the top 10, but he was supposed to be a top 10 player coming into the year. I don't think he's back up there yet, again, unless he has like a freaky workout or something. Right. Disappointing final season at Clemson, though, for T.J. Parker, despite a pretty good Senior Bowl last week.
Yeah, but all the more reason to show up and have a good Senior Bowl was pretty important for him.
I think it really was. I think receiver is really interesting here for Washington, whether it's Jordan Tyson or a Mekhi Lemon. Any other position groups that make sense to you?
Defense, they would be obviously the first corner off the board at this spot, but it's pretty high given this list of corners. They've got some young players already at that spot, but definitely like the swing and the miss on Marshawn Lattimore as a trade guy that they brought in has been problematic.
Yeah. I think corner or receiver makes a lot of sense here at 7 for Washington. We can go Jordan Tyson from Arizona State or the top corner on the board, whether you think that's Jamad McCoy, Mansour Delane. Pick one.
Let's
let
go.
you make a choice here.
Okay, let's go corner. Let's go McCoy.
You want Jamad McCoy.
Yeah.
He's top on the PFF board, and Where's he in the consensus? Missed all of the season. He's second on the consensus board right now at 15.
Mm-hmm.
All right, McCoy going top 10 here.
Yeah.
For Washington at 7.
New Orleans.
The Saints. Our friend Nick Underhill covering the Saints. I have a feeling we'll get close to their pick with Nick's reporting. Nick does. He'll get. By the time we get to March, he'll know.
He'll know
where the Saints are
Be
going.
locked in.
Yeah. But I think they're already getting tied to Jeremiah Love.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't
like
love
Mickey Loomis, he doesn't care.
No, that's true.
You know,
that is true.
if he loves Love, he's going Love.
But that's like, and again, it's like, what lessons did you learn from other people's mistakes world? Like,
Never.
Would you look at what happened to Ashton Genty last year and be like, is our line that good? You know, are we really confident that our line's good enough for this running back to be dominant right away? That wouldn't be. I mean, it's.
But you'd also say, well, we did the responsible thing the last 2 years.
So now let's go crazy.
We drafted 2 first-round tackles, right? We have Fuanga.
And I think it's moving in the right direction.
Banks.
I just don't know that it's there yet.
Any kind of defensive line talent, I think, makes a lot of sense for the Saints. I don't know if the value matches up there necessarily. Could they use another pass catcher? Absolutely. Any kind of defensive playmakers would help, but they had that defense moving in the right direction down the stretch.
They did, yeah. So the next guy to ask you how far he moved his stock in the Senior Bowl would be Caleb Banks, the defensive tackle from Florida. Another fairly consensus winner from the week of practices.
Yeah.
Dude's highlight reel plays are out of this world nuts. The low light reel plays aren't great.
Both of those remind me a little bit of Deion Walker from Kentucky.
Yeah.
The low light is like, man, dude's getting wrecked by a double team.
And some of the same reasons. It's like,
and the highlight reel
stands up too tall.
Instant, yeah, because of the size,
right?
And instant wins. Banks played so few snaps at Florida, both because of injury and because of a heavy rotation on the defensive line. But I think everybody who watched Banks over the last few years was like, this is a top 10 to 15 type of pick. So I think having those, the great Senior Bowl, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes as high as 8. I don't hate that as a fit. Let's do a Senior Bowl overreaction pick here.
Yes.
Senior Bowl overreaction.
It is the post Senior Bowl mock.
It's a thought exercise. It's a thought exercise. Anytime we do a little bit like a stretch pick, you just say thought exercise.
It's a post Senior Bowl mock draft.
Post Senior Bowl.
What would be the point in being post Senior Bowl if we weren't
Caleb
overreacting
Banks.
to the Senior Bowl?
I love it. Good job, Sam. Good contribution.
There you go. See?
And somebody said that you don't contribute to our mocks that much. I did right before we got on the air.
Mm-hmm.
Just kidding. Number 9, Kansas City Chiefs on the board. I'm just telling. I'm going to mention it all draft season. Everybody wants Jeremiah Love to just solve the Chiefs' offense. I can't get it out of my head though. So 2 receivers who I think would help quite a bit for Pat. Denzel Boston from Washington. He's a lot lower on the list right now, but just felt like a fit. Big-bodied receiver. I think he's just got like a good adjustment feel. I just feel like he could play Mahomes' game.
Right.
And then Mekhi Lemon I like for everyone, but he's like that dog receiver where if you say, man, you pair him up with anybody, but like if you pair him up with the Chiefs, like he'll have some success and he'll give you some really good insurance if you don't want to pay Rashee Rice long term.
Yeah, which is a factor in all this. We don't really know where they're leaning on that. Rashee Rice is the closest thing they've had to a number 1 wide receiver since they traded away Tyreek Hill. And obviously with Rashee Rice, you got some fairly significant concerns about, off-field, whether he can keep himself together going forward. Do the Chiefs have the same problem that the Bills have in terms of they've got a ton of guys that work the middle and nobody that you rely on as like a true number 1 X receiver since they traded away Tyreek Hill? Like, it feels like, again, people are going to sort of zero in on these guys that are just good, reliable receivers, but are they actually crying out for the same thing the Bills are crying out for?
Maybe. I mean, they need somebody to just win one-on-ones.
Yeah.
For sure. They struggled against man coverage. Jordan Tyson could be that guy from Arizona State if he's still on the board here. It's funny because we keep saying this is not a deep draft and everything, but once we get to picks 8, 9, 10, like a lot of these teams, especially the Chiefs, for some reason, you could see really good fits for a couple different receivers. You could talk yourself into the running back and just say, hey, we'll have a good enough pass game. We have Patrick Mahomes, but explosiveness in the run game with Jeremiah Love, you could talk yourself into that. I could talk myself into a press corner like Mansour Delane or Peter Woods as Chris Jones gets a little bit older and say, okay, we've got our Chris Jones insurance for a guy that can win on the interior or a guy that's just going to pair with Chris Jones for another couple of years as well. So I think the Chiefs are in a good spot as like there's 4 or 5 picks that I would feel decent about. And I think the teams picking in this range feel pretty good about this group.
And I will say, you use the term thought experiment. As a thought experiment,
Throw it out there.
I would really love to see what Jeremiah Love looks like in that offense.
We could tick the button. We could click it right here.
We could do it. But like
it'd be irresponsible, but it's February.
But it's
February
also
mocks are
like they're in that world of like, would their is their offensive line so good that you guarantee you'll have success? No, but is it good enough that you're like, it's a pretty good shot of it working? And Mahomes, and I'd kind of like to see it.
In the run game last year, remember they were like really efficient, but no runs over 20 yards.
Right.
Or had one running back run over 20 yards. So they were getting the 3 and 4.
Yeah.
And Love's specialty is turning 3 or 4 into 50.
Right. And that's why, like, I would have been really interested to see what Breece Hall would have done in that offense if they'd successfully swung the trade for him when they balked at a 3rd instead of a 4th. I would have been really interested to see Breece Hall in that offense. I am, if not similarly, then even more interested to see what Jeremiah Love would look like in that offense.
Let's do it for this one.
Why not?
Let's do it. Jeremiah Love.
Plus, when are you going to pick in the top 9 again? You might as well. That's how they do it, right?
That's going to be the one that sways them from not doing it, is when they say, we're never going to pick in the top 10 again. We certainly cannot use the pick on a running back. But we can here in our second mock draft.
But I think that could work either way. Like, yeah, number one, if we're going to draft this high, let's do it at a premium position. But also, like, if you believe that Jeremiah Love is, one of those guys, one of those yeah, right.
You don't get to pick blues.
Is one of those transcendent players. Those don't exist at 30, 31 overall in the draft. So go get him the one time you're picking in the top 10.
Let's do it, man. Jeremiah Love to the Chiefs, because I pressed the button already, as did you.
Yeah.
Let's go Cincinnati Bengals here at 10.
Mm-hmm.
They're interesting because they just started 2 rookie linebackers last year, but Sonny Styles is sitting here.
Can he tackle?
Yeah. They need some tacklers.
Nobody on the Bengals can tackle.
They need some impact players. The corner value is really good here, but for all their defensive needs, I don't know if they want to go corner here.
Corners, actually, they're not bad at corner.
Yeah. Dax Hill, DJ Turner, they're not bad.
They're terrible everywhere else, but corner is actually okay.
They could easily talk themselves into Caleb Downs if he was still here, but he's off the board on this mock.
That's a pretty common one. Like the sort of landing spot for Caleb Downs if he does last to the 10th split pick.
They're certainly not going to take a receiver. Now, I think they go back to the defensive line well. Shamar Stewart. So if you were to diversify your portfolio on the defensive line and say Shamar Stewart is your high upside, hope he figures it all out type of guy, Keldrick Falk could be the guy on the other end of we at least know we're going to get a really good physical run defender who could play a little bit on the interior, play like head up, 5-tech type, or play on the edge. We just don't know if he's ever going to be a high-impact pass rusher, but we think we're going to get a really good football player. Is that okay at 10?
Yeah.
Safe but unexciting.
Right. Which I guess is better than unsafe and unexciting, which is their last pick in the first round. You might have to, as a GM candidate, you might have to avoid the term diversify your portfolio going forward, given that, the last sort of finance guy.
The finance GM got fired.
Just got fired over the weekend. So maybe it's time to come up with a different term.
The football people are
they're out on finance bros,
dancing on his grave. But we see him as the finance guy. They see him as the analytics nerd.
Well, whatever he is, whether it's
and because in the book they said they use PFF grades, and that people think we still work at PFF, so it's on us.
That guy's account is the worst account on Twitter. That MLF football guy, just what a. Anyway,
that's why I got him blocked. I got him muted.
But they're so
mute him.
His account is so big that you can't avoid it. Whether he's a finance guy, whether he's an analytics guy, or whether he's just a guy that's willing to spend a weekend with his family, all these things are things that NFL people hate.
2 weeks with his family.
2 weeks at your training camp of all things. What an asshole. These are all things that the NFL institutionally hates. They don't like any of that. So he's like just the worst nightmare. Of course they're dancing on his grave.
I don't want to get into it, but if he failed there's I mean, there's a million reasons, and it's not just like what his background is.
Right.
So,
yeah. Anyway, Bengals.
diversify your portfolio.
Don't say that. Yeah. You won't get the job.
I'll cancel that. Did we give them Peter Woods last time, though, as an interior pass rusher?
Did we? We gave the Bengals last time.
I bet it was Peter
We
Woods.
did. Peter Woods.
I would probably do that again. Interior pass rush, they've been craving for years now. I think Peter Woods can supply that, despite my hate for all Clemson defensive players this past year.
How far from going back to the offensive line would they be with Orlando Brown? Not exactly dominating since they acquired him.
I just don't know from a team building standpoint. I just don't know if they can afford to spend a top 10 pick. I get it, like long-term thinking. You have a future tag, like if Maui Noah played guard and then eventually took over at tackle. That would be like if they did not have so many defensive holes over the last 2 years across multiple coordinators.
Right.
That's my concern. But it's not a bad thought. It's a thought experiment.
It's not a bad thought, but let me tell you why you're stupid.
No, that wasn't stupid at all. It's a good discussion. They should have 5 minutes down the road here. They should have that discussion. If they'll invite me into their discussions,
There's
I'll
only
bring
a couple of people there. You would think they'd get around to it at some point.
You would think that they would have room to bring me in to help out too, but here we are.
Well, that would involve money.
Here we are at a stalemate.
You should offer to do it for free. They might let you do it then.
I've talked to people about, you do it for free for a year, prove it out. Like I've proved myself. I've got
But them in particular.
NFL people.
I feel
got
like
this draft thing figured out. Just hire me.
I feel like there's some teams that the free thing wouldn't really move the needle that much, but I think the Bengals, if you're like, look, try for free once.
Feed me lunch and I'll do it.
Yeah. Try it for free for 1 year. Like, free before you buy type of thing. I think they would.
If you let me eat at the calf while I'm there, I'll do it.
I don't think they know how much food that requires.
That's true. They wouldn't even do that either.
No.
Maybe.
I'll bring my own food.
Look, they expanded their
free.
team this offseason, so maybe they got this all figured out. I'd go Peter Woods.
Okay, so we Peter Woods, we don't have a better pick than that. They could take a corner, but that's less of a need. And then we don't really love anybody else at that spot, right?
Yeah, like Cassius Howell's interesting because I don't know how high he actually goes, but would he get another Texas A&M edge in there? The guy that was a better, more effective pass rusher than Shamar Stewart?
Mm-hmm.
But then it might.
What if they?
Yeah.
I have occasionally thought that there was a while when I was watching Luke Kuechly tape. Who was the other linebacker that they had at the time?
Herzlich?
Yes,
Mark
Herzlich.
Herzlich.
There was at least a game or two where I thought they were the other player, and everyone was talking up Kuechly. And I was like, I don't know, he doesn't look that good to me. It was because it was Mark
Watching the
Herzlich
wrong
that I was
guy.
watching. It's like maybe
Herzlich was supposed to be a stud, too.
I know, yeah, but it was like, I was watching a couple of games. Like, I don't know, Kuechly doesn't look that great to me. I don't really see it. And it turns out I was just watching the wrong guy. Maybe the Bengals did that. Maybe they're like, this guy looks awesome. Let's take him. And they just thought they were watching Shamar Stewart, and it turned out they were watching
You want to
Cassius
bring
Howell.
just both? Let's get them both?
Well, now at least, you already screwed up. You might as well get the guy you thought was awesome in the first place.
Your reasoning's ridiculous. They do need
Can you be certain that's not what happened?
an explosive pass rusher. Cassius Howell's number 22 on the consensus board. I could see that going up a little bit.
To 10?
Whatever you want. Just draft position right now, an expected draft position, it's like it can vary quite a bit.
Sure.
You want to take him?
Howell or Woods?
Howell.
Okay.
Just to mix it up.
Yeah, why not?
Just to mix it up. Thought
We're
experiment.
just making people mad over here.
Cassius Howell to
Dolphins.
the Bengals. Dolphins at 11.
What does Bobby need?
Probably some defensive players.
Also a quarterback and some receiver help and maybe some offensive linemen.
Would they go Ty Simpson here?
Oh, God.
He could like Ty.
Good. How much sway do you think Bobby has there?
This is where we usually go.
You can't text him and be like, how much juice do you have in the building already? They can't. Seriously, how high do you think Ty Simpson can go?
There was a point earlier in the year where it did not seem wild for him to go in the top 10. And the
Right.
only thing that changed was poor performance and or injury.
His
at the
entire
same time.
career is like 15 starts old.
Correct.
So a series of those being not great is not ideal.
So in the Ty Simpson discussion, we'll cite it. Other people will cite it. I forget the exact number of starts, but it's around 15,
I
whatever.
think it is exactly 15.
Yeah. And you're going to just get Well, Mitch Trubisky. Well, Dwayne Haskins. Well, Kyler Murray. Well, Mac Jones. You're just going to get a list of everybody that's got 15 or fewer starts, or maybe a few more. Trey Lance, whoever. Most of them are going to feel like misses. And then, as we talked about, we're going to talk about on the Super Bowl preview in 2 days, guessing. The Sam Darnold discussion, where he was kind of inexperienced, not 15 starts inexperienced, but it took him 4 years. So then it's like, okay, do we have 4 years? Does it have to be 4 years? Do we have to suck it up for a couple years before he figures it out? Or do you scout? Because scouts don't care about that. Scouts scout the traits and the projection, and they're going to say he runs the offense really well. He's got a good enough arm, throws with anticipation. He can move well enough. It's kind of like the Mendoza thing. You're not going to build the offense out of his legs, but he could chuck it. Can he run a Shanahan-Kubiak offense, which half the NFL's running right now? I think he can. And so a team like the Dolphins at 11 could land on that. So you've got the Dolphins at 11, the Jets at 16, the Steelers at 21. Those are the teams that have the QB needs. Now, the teams at the top, Arizona at 3, so Jets at 2, Arizona at 3, Browns at 6. Those are all going to feel a little high, but once you get to the Dolphins at 11, they're having that discussion.
Is he an option for the thing that doesn't really happen anymore, to do the Jordan Love strategy of like, this guy, he's got 15 starts under his belt. The list of people with 15 starts on their belt is basically terrible. Having said that, I think all of them got pressed into service basically right away.
Let's just sit him.
Can we take him? He does not see the field year one. We put out some sacrificial quarterback. If it's Tua again, like we throw the Tua becomes our bridge quarterback that we're stuck with anyway. Tua plays for a whole year. Ty Simpson does not see the field until year 2, and we actually legitimately try to develop him for a year before he ever steps foot on the field.
I mean, I always like that as a strategy.
But it never happens.
I know.
But is Ty Simpson's thing so strange in terms of extremely low sample size of games started, plus down quarterback year, but a bunch of teams needing a quarterback? Like, does somebody actually look at that math and say the only way of squaring this equation is to say we can take this guy, but he can't play for the first year?
To make that work, I think you have to look at the life cycle of the head coach and the GM. So now we have Jeff Hafley, new GM. Jeff Hafley as head coach, new GM. They're both coming in together, so they have time. So they either attack this 2 ways. We have our quarterback, and we can stash him and develop him at our own pace, or roster's a bit of a mess. Secondary needs an overhaul. Offensive line needs help. We need pass catchers now that Tyreek Hill's injured and old. We need a lot of different things.
Yeah.
QB class should be deeper next year. So we got to build the infrastructure first. I think it'd be better on the Dolphins to build the infrastructure, unless of course you love Simpson, right? Like if you fall in love with a guy, you just take him at 11 and build it around him.
Because there were people, if we go back far enough, there were people that basically said that about J.J. McCarthy in Minnesota. Like, McCarthy needs to sit for a year. And actually, if you look at the way they approached that year, they might have thought the same thing. Now, he ended up sitting for a year anyway, but it was rehabbing his knee, which is not quite the same thing. But, like, they signed Sam Darnold to the 1-year, $10 million deal or whatever as a bridge quarterback. Like,
would have beaten him out.
I think McCarthy was winning the job, but that was a surprise. Like, I think the game plan was they were going to start Darnold maybe for as long as the entire year, and McCarthy was going to have to come in year 2 or midway through year 1. And, so theoretically they were planning on developing him from the sideline, but then McCarthy looked so good in preseason, I think he was going to jump Darnold to start the year, and then coming out of that, his knee was gone. They sat him down anyway.
I think Darnold would have beaten him out.
Point being, at the end of the, they may have had a guy that may have had to sit for a year. They may have been pressed. Like, this may have been the year that he was supposed to be sitting anyway. Actually, maybe the Dolphins should be doing that with Ty Simpson.
I'm going to say that for all that QB discussion, I'm going to say they don't go the QB route.
Okay.
I think Jordan Tyson's really enticing there at receiver. So I would say the Dolphins have that discussion if they like Simpson enough, and then debate the merits of taking him at 11 versus punting on QB for this year.
Right.
Trust in the fact that we have long-term infrastructure in place, head coach and GM. We'll attack QB in the future. Let's get pass catchers. Let's get the O-line. Let's get the D-line and the secondary built up. That's a lot of things.
Surely this is a team desperate for cornerback help.
So the corners are intriguing there. The receivers intriguing there. Maybe corner's the way to go. They've been getting Delane a lot, right? In these mocks. I don't mind going that way.
What does the corner group look like overall in this? Delane Avion? Is that how we're saying that?
Avion Terrell. Delane's been going to, like, the consensus has him going to Miami at 11. Like, the consensus mock drafts.
People were talking about Colton Hood being a first-round player at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, I didn't watch him closely enough to get a Senior Bowl opinion on him.
Can't say I really saw that unless you're running like a pure press man scheme, which people don't anymore.
Right. And they probably won't.
Right. I don't think anybody does, really, anymore.
I'd say between Delane or I would go one of the receivers, but you go Delane here?
Yeah.
Stock pick.
Chalk.
There's your corner. Chalk pick, yeah. Cowboys at 12. Sonny Styles. Where'd we go? Did we go Sonny Styles last time?
We went.
Did we give them a linebacker?
No, we went Jamon McCoy.
Oh, yeah. So they could go corner. The receiver one's the one to keep an eye on. Well, the George Pickens, whatever happens at free
we'll know
agency.
whether they need one or not,
Yeah.
based by, at that point, whether they've re-signed George Pickens or not.
They could be in a prime spot, though, to grab a Jordan Tyson or Mekhi Lemon as a really nice compliment to CeeDee Lamb here. Or Carnell Tate, depending on where it lands. They could definitely be in the receiver market here. Everybody loves to give them a running back, but Jeremiah loves off the board. Mm-hmm. And Javonte Williams hitting free agency. Clearly could use another pass rusher, and I wonder how much, because they made the Micah Parsons trade, they just feel like they have to get, even though they got Ezraku in the second last year, like you have to get an edge rusher. Not necessarily with one of the picks that Micah Parsons,
Well, they also,
but like with all of these picks that you have over the next couple of years.
You don't want to sort of talk about this in these terms, but Marshawn Nealand is a player that was, on the roster and tragically killed himself. So that's a player they presumably would have been planning on long term and just isn't there anymore. So it's not just that they traded away Micah Parsons. There are two defensive linemen that are not on that roster for radically different reasons than they would have been expecting.
Peter Woods would have been really intriguing here, I think, if they hadn't traded for Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams at defensive tackle. I think Woods would have been an attractive option. I think they'll be linked to Keldrick Falk again. Same reasons. You're going to get like their run defense has been bad for a while. He improves that, just does it on the edge, and with some flexibility on the defensive line with some size.
They've also got to be in the corner market as well, having moved on from Trayvon Diggs. They haven't been.
And Deron Bland looking
not great.
Yeah. That's where this is where I think a corner run between the Dolphins, the Cowboys, and then the Rams at 13, all with pretty decent cornerback needs there.
Yeah, like Avion Terrell at this point would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, but then that's going to take our Rams pick.
I don't think the Cowboys will care about that.
I don't think the Cowboys will care,
Yeah.
but I'll care when I'm trying to put together a mock and I got to fit somebody in for the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams are also going to like randomly fall in love with somebody.
Trade up
and go get
overall.
them. Yeah, they're going to go, I got somebody for the Rams. That's fine. You want to go Avion Terrell, go corner here for the Cowboys?
Sure.
All right. Rams can go tackle, right?
Yeah.
Do you get Spencer Fano here? I think he's a better fit than Maui Noah.
With Rob Havenstein getting old and busted.
Yeah, Warren McClendon filled in, did a nice job, but I think Fano, when a team doesn't pick this high that often, it's hard to get first-round tackles. It's hard to get first-round edge rushers, so you take advantage when you're up there.
Yeah.
That's why we gave the Chiefs a running back. Whoops. You take advantage when
you're up there. Well, they got
their
their first-round tackle last year, and Josh Simmons at the end of the first round.
They did. They got the guy that dropped.
You net him out. It makes perfect sense. Like the Raiders. You flip their draft upside down, it makes perfect sense.
I got to rewatch Mekhi Lemon a little bit more because I don't want to say this, but if there was a Puka Nacua type in this draft where you're just like, this dude balls out.
Puka Nacua, he's getting comps to fellow alum for current teammate, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, just it's not going to blow you away in terms of like his measurables or anything, but the dude's just like hard as nails, makes an insane amount of plays.
Yeah.
Right, both USC receivers, both tough over the middle.
So it's a little different where Sean McVay has his Kyron Williams and then Blake Corum clone. The Kyron Williams clone comes in. Do you clone your receivers with like Puka and Mekhi Lemon? Those types, right?
Yeah.
This power slot type that's just going to win in contested situations and everything. Oh, by the way, they'll be in the QB discussion as well.
The Rams,
whether Stafford comes back.
They
or
must
not.
be kind of annoyed at this, actually, that like you finally work your way to a pick at 13 overall in a year where there's darn quarterbacks. Because like in other years, this would have put them in an amazing position to go and like snag Stafford's replacement.
Oh, this would have been
unusually high.
If this was 2 years ago and they could have gotten like Bo Nix,
right,
and just sat him.
Perfect.
And, like we know we're getting one more year of Stafford, and
or
timing wise, we might only get one more year of Stafford.
Or JJ McCarthy. Like again, if that was true, like I think JJ McCarthy needs to sit for a year before he goes anywhere near the field. And they're like, dude, we get McCarthy, sit him behind Stafford for a year, coach him up, and unleash him. But no, not.
That would have been interesting.
Unless you think Ty Simpson is great.
So the corner's off the board. I think Fano's attractive here. The receivers with Devontae Adams getting a little bit older. Like you get Jordan Tyson here at 13. You don't need to get a clone. Do you want to go Tyson? Or tackle?
I mean, they can go either way. You're asking me to make the choice?
Yeah.
Well, let's go Tyson then.
Jordan Tyson to the Rams at 13. Thought experiment. I haven't seen that.
Thought experiment.
I haven't seen that yet.
Anything we do is stupid. It's just a thought experiment.
We're just thinking out loud. Just throwing it out there. See how you feel. See how you feel about it. Ravens at 4. Don't worry. If you're worried, 3 months from now, you'll have your own mock draft. All you listeners, viewers. Ravens at 14.
And none of them are right, so it's fine.
Yeah, we're all.
Ours is no more less right than everybody else.
3 picks. Good
Right.
job. One of them was Mendoza. Keldrick Falk. Ravens for life. Raven for life. Ravens at 14. Where do we want to go here?
Well, they badly need pass rush, but how many pass rushers do you see? I mean, is this a TJ Parker spot?
It could be. Could see him going at this point. I still can't get over how. Let me just say, he had a rough final season at Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
I hate doing this, but I did have a conversation with somebody who gave me some insight as to part of the reasons off the field that may have led to that, may have influenced it in a negative sense. It's nothing bad as far as like long-term or whatever, but it's like if you're looking for an excuse, maybe he has it, and that's going to perhaps come out in the interview process and everything. Because teams are going to ask, like, why didn't you dominate your
in
final
his
season?
favor or work against him?
Like, he had something happen in his family.
Right.
That probably made it difficult to play at his highest level.
Yeah, so that's the kind of thing that could help him.
So that helps him. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Between that and a good Senior Bowl,
yeah,
maybe that works. I kind of like that as a fit.
Do it.
Let's do it. TJ Parker.
Done.
To the Ravens. Sometimes we go quick.
Not often, but it does happen.
And he would have been intriguing for the Bucs at 15.
Yep.
Did we go, because in my head, I'm going to connect.
You're going to do this for the second year in a row.
All right, we already gave Cassius. Do we already give Cassius Howell to the Bengals? We did that?
Oh, yeah. Well, no, then you're not doing this.
What am I doing second year in a row?
Last draft, last mock, we gave Sonny Styles to the Bucs because for the second year
I'm going to keep going line. Yeah, that's right. They're just straight linebacker.
Yeah.
No, so this time my thought went to Cassius Howell. They need a nice pass rusher there. You're right. This is Sonny Styles to the Bucs is locked in. If he's available in our mocks, he is locked in.
Now so this is now Zach Robinson's Tampa Bay Bucs. Does Zach need more weapons?
We got to go offense here. They don't like Mike Evans.
Getting on.
Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. We've got to figure out what they're doing. Jalen McMillan, Emeka Ibuka, Tez Johnson.
It's a really good-looking receiving core on paper, but Mike Evans is now pretty old, and Chris Godwin's injured every 3 seconds.
K. Daughton's a free agent. Do they bring in Kyle Pitts in free agency to reunite?
Man, what a turn-up that would be.
To reunite with Zach. It's just all the Bucs hate the Falcons.
The man that unlocked him.
That's right. It took him 2 years. He got it. Got it.
Well, now he knows where the key is.
He knows where the unlocked it. He's got the key to the batter's box. That's what we used to say. Oh, yeah. Sonny Styles is locked into the Bucs here.
Done.
There we go. And while you're doing that, I'm going to tell you that you know how fast NFL game days move. One big play and everything changes. That's why live betting on FanDuel is a game changer. With FanDuel, you can bet in real time while the game unfolds. Score just flipped. You can jump on a new spread or a live money line. The wide receiver's heating up. You can bet the next touchdown score or total yards. Think that drive stalls in the red zone. You can take a live field goal prop or fade the total. Live player props, team totals, Drive results, updated spreads, next play markets. It's all there. It's fast, it's fun, and with FanDuel, your live bets move as quickly as the game does. So whether you're riding momentum or fading the hype, FanDuel puts you right in the middle of every moment. Visit FanDuel.com/33rd to download the app and bet the NFL live all season long, including for the big game. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas and affiliation at Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpga.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts. Or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Paid endorsement. Also got to tell you about our friends over at Root Insurance. Root Insurance believes that good drivers deserve better rates, so they've created a new kind of car insurance that rewards good drivers in an easy-to-use app. Traditional car insurance companies focus on demographics like age, zip code, occupation, and credit score to price your coverage. But when Root offers a rate, your behavior behind the wheel gets more weight than any other single factor. They didn't use occupation or education level to negatively affect your rate. While you drive, Root gathers and analyzes data from your smartphone sensors, and after a few weeks, you'll get a car insurance quote based primarily on your driving. Save up to 44% off your initial Root quote after you take the test drive. If you need a tow truck, jump start, or lock your keys in the car, Root will cover the help you need to get back on the road when you opt into roadside assistance. The Root app makes it easy to edit your coverage, update your policy, or file a claim in just 3 minutes. You can get started today at Root.com. So now we're at the point, pick 16 here. Kind of like some of the players left on the draft board. Mekhi Lemon's still out there. Maui Noah, who we've had go in the top 10 at tackle. Peter Woods. Spencer Fano, the tackles have dropped here. Jets are on the board. We went Ty Simpson last time here.
I didn't check. Did that make people big mad? Feels like it would.
I don't know. I didn't see a lot of negativity around our stuff. We did get a cordial email from a Lions fan that said we've invested in guard enough. Please don't give us another guard. Yeah. Fair.
Not necessarily true, but fair.
I mean they brought in Tate Ratledge last year. Glasgow had to move to center.
Yeah,
and then it was a bunch of mid-round and late-round developmental guards. Okay, Jets. And then the Steelers at 21. Those are the next two spots you're looking at for Simpson. Maybe the Browns take a shot on him at 24. The teams with the two picks are intriguing. When it comes to quarterbacks, that was our reasoning last time with Ty Simpson. I say we mix it up this time and go somewhere else, though.
Yep. I mean, they need wide receivers outside of Garrett Wilson. So Mekhi
Lemon would look really good here.
Yep.
For no quarterback, but for the future quarterback for next
Correct,
year.
Yeah.
Like Arch Manning is throwing to Mekhi Lemon and Garrett Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Woods to go with Ruben Bain would also be intriguing here for the Jets.
It would.
Just throwing that out there.
Yep. For a defensive line that really kind of fell apart and then was further taken apart when they traded away Quinn Williams.
Do we go double defensive line here?
Double D-line.
You want to do that?
Sure. Peter Woods?
Yeah. Tough to pass up Mekhi Lemon, but
we're going to do it anyway.
Peter Woods and Ruben Bain going to the Jets. I love it.
You talked about the Rams cloning receivers. I mean, I just said his comp is Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh, so you want to go Mekhi Lemon to the Lions?
That now he's available, and they could literally bring him in.
Francis Maui Noah is really interesting here. There's rumors that Taylor Decker might be forced into retirement, the starting left tackle, even if he did play.
They've already lost Dan Skipper to retirement.
True. Is it right on the coaching staff or something? It's like right into coaching.
Didn't see.
A coaching staff. I don't know which one. Would Maui Noah maybe play guard and then eventually move to tackle? I think he's got that ability. Fano is there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Good future-proof tackle here if you're the Lions.
You could. And, I mean, I do think that offensive line was an issue last year, so it would make some sense.
Let's go Maui Noah.
Maui Noah.
Power player here for the Lions. Francis Maui Noah, starting tackle for the Miami Hurricanes. Going to 17, going to the Lions at 17. The Vikings are up on the clock at 18.
Having axed their personnel man right before the draft.
Kwesi already told, I mean, we were on the sideline with him at the Senior Bowl. He already told us who he was going to draft at 18, and now it's all changed.
Yeah.
I made that up.
Yeah, because I didn't hear that.
We can ask him now.
Sure.
Who are you going to take at 18?
Maybe he'll come on the show now. It's been freed up.
Oh, jeez. You ask. I'll give him. You ask him.
You think he'd do it now? Like, is he? I mean, I'm sure he's not going to be loving the idea of like getting into the nitty gritty or anything. But
we would be the I mean, he'll land somewhere, obviously, if he wants to.
Sure.
We would be the opportunity to clear the air because he's going through this whole
To reinvent himself publicly.
Yeah, I mean, he gets fired, and everybody's like, "Yeah, he took paternity leave, didn't talk to anybody. He gave up his draft board rights to everybody, and Flores made all the picks. Like, it's just all negative press."
Yeah.
He could clear the air.
Well, he needs to fight
He could
back.
say, "Hey,
from
the
a
only
PR
player that I
standpoint.
liked was who did they hit on?
Addison, who made
Addison."
He needs to fight back from a PR standpoint. Right now, it's all negative PR.
We're the ability to punch back.
We're the positive PR. You come on the show, tell us why everyone else sucked. You were good.
Yeah. Tell us, dealing with Flores and
It is kind of interesting.
KOC's a jerk. And whatever you want
In
to
the
say.
same offseason, we seem to have an instance where the office politics, like on the one hand, you've got the office politics with the GM convince the owner that everyone else is a jackass.
Yeah.
And then this one, where everyone else seems to convince the owner that the GM is a jackass. Like, you got the opposite thing playing out in two different franchises, where it's the same thing. It's all office politics. But on the one hand, like the report I saw was that multiple people basically raised concerns about the ceiling of the team under Kwesi's leadership.
That's what
it's
it was.
like, so that's just like a couple of people going, I don't know. He's a great guy, but I don't know if he's got what it takes. And then the other way, it's like Brandon Beane sitting next to the owner convinced him that McDermott was the guy
And these guys
dragging
were
this thing
buddies.
back.
Like it was an interesting dynamic too, because Kwesi got hired right. It got hired and then was part of the coaching search, right? So they brought in Jim Harbaugh and they land on KOC, but they were like in together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like Brandon Beane and McDermott. Like Beane was McDermott's guy. Like,
Right.
They're together until all of a sudden it's like, hey, it's his
It's
fault.
just internal office politics, the same
then,
the world over.
At the end of the day, we know that they're all humans, and office politics and the ceiling wasn't there. It's simply like, the guy we got rid of is in the Super Bowl. Imagine if we had him. You're right. Fire the guy.
But what's interesting?
QB's in the Super Bowl. Darnold. That would be us.
What's interesting about the Vikings one, I think. I mean, the Bills, you can imagine, given where they've been the last 6 years or whatever it is, like owners already poking around looking for a sacrificial lamb, right?
Sure.
This appears to have been just in the routine course of like chatting to people, debriefing or whatever. They've all just unprompted been like, I don't know if that guy's really going to be able to take us where we need to go. It's like, okay, we thought actually things were fine, but we've decided, having talked to everybody else, that we've got to sack this guy.
We had all these conversations while you were down in Alabama.
Yeah, and by the way, you haven't even been here to fight your own corner. Pretty fascinating.
Anyway, Vikings are on the clock at 18.
Yeah, so why that's fascinating is because you have the reports that coaches were already, sticking their oar in when it comes to personnel decisions with Kwesi there, and now the entire draft is being run by the salary cap guy. So presumably they're going to be leaning pretty heavily on the coaches.
There were rumblings that Ryan Grigson, though, who's been their former Colts GM, was in and around finishing touches on the draft board anyway.
Right.
So he's still there.
Sure.
So
but my point is,
probably some
the
similarities.
franchise was already being talked about as coaches having a lot of input, and now the guy nominally running things is a salary cap expert. You would assume they're going to be leaning quite heavily on what the coaches want.
Yeah. If I'm the offense is in a pretty good shape given the I don't know what the long-term prospects are for, say, Ryan Kelly at center, given his injuries.
Yeah.
But it's tough to find holes on the offense outside of maybe running back.
Or, again, they're in a similar discussion to the Chiefs with Rashee Rice. Like,
True,
can
with
you
Addison.
actually rely on Jordan Addison long-term, or should you be drafting his replacement here?
So Mekhi Lemon's really attractive in that sense.
Yeah.
Defensively, I'm interested in a guy like Caden McDonald at defensive tackle as a line resetter, but they just paid a ton of money for Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen, but those aren't long-term plays. You have Jalen Redmond there, but this would help you set up for the future. That feels like I'm trying to project Flores and what he might like. Mm-hmm. A line resetting defensive tackle. They just traded Harrison Phillips before the season. McDonald is intriguing there on the defensive side. I like what you're saying about receiver, though. If we're going to anticipate, this will feel like whack-a-mole, like you're not filling a need, but it's a need. right? It's not.
Well, it might
it's
be
not
a
a
need.
depth chart need right now, which doesn't feel as good because Addison's still there, but it's definitely future-proofing that position where you probably don't have to commit to him long term.
I mean, it would give you, I think it would give you quite a lot of flexibility to allow Jordan Addison to walk in free agency, get a comp pick out of him, rather than risk giving him big money and then having him get arrested for driving 125 miles an hour. And
Right.
you don't
we
have
had this discussion last year with Luther Burden. The number of didn't we,
Yeah.
we mocked Luther Burden to them and said for at least 1 to 2 years, crush it in 3 wide receiver sets, let Addison walk, Burden takes over.
Now the question is which coach wins. KOC
Makai Lemon versus Caden McDonald.
KOC probably wants Makai Lemon from this group. Flores might want Caden McDonald. Which one wins in the fight?
Take Lemon. I'd go Makai.
I mean, he's a better value at this point as
Yeah.
well. So
I like Makai Lemon.
let's do that.
There. 18 to the Vikings. Carolina Panthers on the clock at 19. Now, he was the spot I'd love for TJ Parker as far as edge rushers go.
Alas.
Keldrick Falk, another edge rusher here.
Yeah, he's quite high on the consensus board, right?
Yeah.
Isn't he?
I think we're starting to get into good value for Falk. I'll tell you the Cowboys at 20 because I think they would consider him higher. The Cowboys at 20, really interesting for Falk as well.
Keldrick Falk is 13 on the consensus board right now and is being mocked to the Chiefs at 9 quite a lot.
The Panthers with Ike Ekwonu injured late in the season. And do they have him? Did they pick up his
What was that injury? Because that was it looked
I thought
bad.
it was the same thing Josh Simmons had.
Oh, patella tear?
I thought so.
Wow.
I could be making that up though. But would they go? Is Spencer Fano in play here?
If
for
it's
Carolina?
a patella tear, then definitely. Can we check that?
Check that out. But anyway, if they went so Keldrick Falk as a pass rusher, edge rush type, set the edge, play the run. Last year they brought in Nick Scorton, Princely Uman-Mielen. Fox a different type of body that you're bringing to the defensive line where they still do need a lot of help. That would be a nice safe pick here. And if they don't take him, I like him going to Dallas.
Yeah, rupture patella tendon
with the next tag
in the playoff loss. So I think tackle absolutely is in play for the Panthers then.
So that might be like a little bit of a need, but also a long-term play with Fano at tackle.
Yeah.
If we want to do that.
Dude, this laptop's decided to run super slow at the moment. It's not going to help.
Let's go Spencer Fano. So we played right tackle at Utah, but we've seen right tackle, left tackle switches all the time. So he'll go to Carolina at 19. That puts the Cowboys up at 20. Do you want to say Keldrick Falk here for the Cowboys? They already went corner
Yep.
with Avion Terrell.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
So now building that defense up.
Yeah, assuming they still have George Pickens on the roster. If they've let him walk, then maybe a receiver is in play. But if they still have those two, then yeah, D-line.
Now, at 21, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who better to develop Ty Simpson than the man who developed the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback, Joe Montana?
Joe Montana, yeah.
And Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy. His resume of developing quarterbacks is unimpeachable. He's Joe Montana, Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott.
I'm not using that against him. That was a report from Ed Werder. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know who it should be used against, but somebody
I would
should
put
be
that
used against.
if you were putting a presentation together.
You cannot
saying, these
claim-
are the quarterbacks that I've coached.
Coaching is different to developing. The point, I think, was specific to feather his cap in terms of developing quarterbacks.
Now,
you
Werder
cannot
said developed.
You cannot claim develop success
But the
for
Prezi-
Kansas City Joe Montana.
The Prezi could have said coached.
It could have.
Montana.
That's
and
why I'm saying,
Favre
look.
and Rodgers and Dak.
That's why I'm saying I don't know who deserves the blame, but
Aaron Brooks.
somebody deserves blame for attaching the term developing to Joe Montana when he was a Kansas City Chief. You can't. No, you can claim that you worked with some of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, coached some of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. You cannot claim to have successfully developed Joe Montana as a Chief.
Do you think Aaron Rodgers is coming back though?
I don't know. It felt like they kind of hated each other by the end of their time in Green Bay. Like, was that accurate or was that just spin from the outside? And if it was accurate, is Rodgers Like, does he remember that, or is the ayahuasca just like dropped that out of his brain and all he's thinking of is the good old times? I remember winning a Super Bowl with this guy. I don't remember the last couple of years where we hated each other.
Just memory holds 2017 and 18.
Just like a couple of hardcore ayahuasca trips in the Peruvian desert has just blasted that out of his brain.
So we'd have to make an assumption here on the pick. We're either a desperate team in need of a quarterback, and Ty Simpson's there.
But again, even if you bring him back,
we don't want to do this recency bias thing like, oh, Kenny Pickett 3 years ago.
But even if you bring him back, like Kenny Pickett is a better draft pick theoretically if you need to sit him for a year than just, hey, hopefully Kenny Pickett's good.
True.
Like, in particular, like Ty Simpson is a different. I think it makes more sense to sit Ty Simpson than it did Kenny Pickett. So if you're looking at this, it would still be a forced draft pick. But if Rodgers is there, I mean, isn't it a better pick to have him and sit him behind Aaron Rodgers for a year?
Long term, but if you're bringing Rodgers back, like you're making a play.
Yeah, I mean, it does nothing for you now, but.
And then my question with Rodgers is, can he even get, like, when was the last time he got on the same page with a rookie wide receiver? Like, he hated Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs or whatever. He said he liked them, but until you watched him on the field yelling at him all the time.
Roman Wilson played like 6 snaps in his rookie season.
So if you drafted, like, Denzel Boston could be next, the receiver from Washington, who, you know, on paper, great fit. Until, like, you got to deal with him. Like, long term, it could be fine for the Steelers until you got to deal with him trying to work with Rodgers.
This is the spot where you flip 21 for a veteran receiver of some description.
Oh, I see. So you're trading for
somebody,
Terry McLaurin or
whoever. I mean, I would trade for Brandon Ayuk would be the guy I'd be targeting if he hadn't, you know, gone nuts.
That's like a tuna sandwich now, though. He's got to leave. He's out of San Francisco.
Oh, sure. But plus, I mean, I don't know what you'd want to give up for a guy who's like legitimately just quit on the job and left his team.
Rodgers, Ayuk, and DK.
Wow.
Together. That's what you're trying to set up.
What a trio.
Dude, that's what you're trying to set up. I mean, that's your boom or bust. That's it. Super Bowl or bust,
I mean, if
baby.
it worked. Whew.
So if Simpson doesn't go here, I'm not saying he'll fall out of the first, but like Browns.
No, but you start to run out of teams that are,
and that's it. And maybe the Rams take the flyer at 29.
Or you do get into that world of like, you know, teams trading back into the first.
Right. So we either do want to lock in Simpson just because uncertainty at the quarterback position, but even if they bring Rodgers back, it's a smart long-term play.
Did we give him – if we did it last time, then
no. Last time we did the Jets at 16.
Oh, then yeah. Why not?
So it's okay to change it because we're experimenting with thoughts.
Yeah, as long as we're forcing Ty Simpson to somebody in the first round, then it's all good.
It is a post-Senior Bowl mock. Garrett Nussmeier
don't even know. Stop it now.
Did some nice things.
No.
But not enough to get into the first round. So Ty Simpson at 21?
Yes.
For the Steelers?
Button pressed. Locked in.
Do I need to reset at some point?
That's a bit late for that.
That's what you said last time.
Right.
That we did last time. Chargers at 22.
Yep.
Ioane.
Which isn't how, you know, people would normally say that. But
Ioane, the guard from Penn State, going to the Chargers. Boom. Top card on the board. Let's go.
Simple. Worst offensive line in the NFL gets better.
All right.
That's our rap sheet would put it in a tweet from his agent.
Well, it depends on how many of his agent friends have players on the Chargers offensive line
that's
already.
True, yeah.
What if his friends represent?
But usually that's what they do at the end of whatever signing is made, you know. Help is on the way, even though it's a guy that played like 6 special team snaps last week.
I started laying the groundwork with some insiders about my future GM prospects.
Ooh.
If you just get them.
But you're not an agent. You've got nothing they need.
I know, but I rep myself at the moment. So
would they trade on information? You know, you've got no information.
First question was, do you have an agent? Actually, and I said, well, not yet.
This is what I'm saying.
But when I do, I'll make sure he tells you to tell the world that I'm a candidate.
And if you don't, then we'll withhold information.
Yeah. What am I bringing? I'm going to help them break a story.
Only the one if you get a job.
Well, my first interview, he'll get the story.
That's where you'll break. Okay.
Ioane to the Chargers.
Done.
From Penn State. Eagles up on the clock.
23.
At 23. Denzel Boston staring at me right now.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Now, look, they're I don't want to say stuck with A.J. Brown, but is fairly untradeable. So you might be stuck with A.J. Brown, at which point you kind of need to make that work. I don't know how much he's going to love the idea of drafting a receiver behind him. Having said that, do you care?
Yeah, this is how you prepare for the future here.
What would Big Dom do? Big Dom was down scouting the Senior Bowl. What do you think he came away with?
We had so many ideas for how we were going to engage with Dom and never executed any of them.
No. Big Dom, I did discover, though, at the Senior Bowl, has his own branded merchandise. He was wearing a cap that has Big Dom embroidered into the side.
Now, what I didn't American legend.
What I didn't know, and it doesn't feel like the kind of thing you can ask somebody in your first time meeting them, is that a line of merch, or did you just take that to one of those stores that does like custom embroidering for you? You know, because if you got your own line of stuff,
I thought he's got his own line.
Yeah, that's kind of. I mean, it's kind of cool. It's certainly cooler than taking your own cap to the store and having them stitch Big Dom into it. That's a little bit, you know. I'm not sure. How would you describe that? It's not cool. Put it that way. Like if he's gone and personally had them stitch Big Dom into his hats, I don't feel great about that.
No, he's definitely got his own line.
Yeah.
He's got his own line. Someone pursued him with these opportunities.
Great idea, Dom.
As a great Italian
Would you lend your name
Big Dom
to this line of Big Dom merch?
What we should have said is, look, we could help. We have a big show.
I did see somebody.
We could help promote it.
Yeah. I did see somebody when, picture, here's Big Dom on the sideline of the Senior Bowl. Somebody was like, what is this guy's job? He's nominally like head of security or something. What is he doing on the sideline of the Senior Bowl?
Let me ask you. Did you see any fights on the sideline of the Senior Bowl?
I didn't, but I also didn't see any Eagles personnel.
That's true.
Like I could prevent a fight between Eagles personnel and people on the sideline of the Senior Bowl if there weren't any.
But he's security for the world.
He's
just for everyone. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's Eagles chief of security, not just general chief of security.
No, because whatever sideline he's patrolling, he's in charge.
Down.
He's in charge. Oh, I should have asked so many questions. Next year's Senior Bowl will have the energy to do it. I'm tempted by Denzel Boston.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Washington receiver.
If you're comfortable with with how that would resonate with AJ Brown.
Did we give them Caleb Lomu last time?
We gave them. No, we gave them Denzel Boston last time.
Oh, okay. So that would be the same thing. So Lomu's a guy I think could use a year at tackle.
Okay.
He's a young tackle.
At Stoutland University.
Redshirt sophomore at Stoutland University.
With the other 17 raw prospects that they brought in last year?
He's got, yeah, but those were late round raw. Mm-hmm. And just big, huge guy, raw.
Yeah.
Texas
and none
Michigan,
of them were.
And he's got skills. I think he's a first-round caliber player, but, man, he's got some technique issues. Like, he's got to tidy up. I would be really interested in that play, but for the Eagles here, future replacement for Lane Johnson as he gets older.
All right.
You want to do that?
Yeah.
To mix it up? Caleb Lomu from Utah. That's my description of
Lomu
at tackle. Puts the Browns back up on the clock.
Perfect.
At 24.
The Browns, who took Carnell Tate already.
Oh, so they're not going to go receiver again?
I mean, they might, but probably not.
A lot of weapons for your Pro Bowl quarterback. Where do they go here? Is this where they go? So Caden Proctor and Monroe Freeling. Proctor scares me, man. I think he's a lesser version of J.C. Latham. And probably more, but I got to look at if you project him at guard. They just need any kind of offensive line help, though.
Titans media is talking about kicking J.C. Latham into guard.
I could see it. I thought the move to right tackle would do him well, and there's still enough.
I think it did, but no.
It was better, but there's still enough reps in there where it's
right.
It's not great. There's rumblings about Clemson. There's always like Roger Rosengarten randomly showed up in first-round mocks, ends up going in the second. Blake Miller could be that guy from Clemson, currently at 48 on the consensus board. But my point is we're running out of starting tackles at this point. I don't think Proctor's the guy. Freeling could be the guy. Maybe that's the play for the Browns.
Who else? The Arizona State offensive tackle had a good Senior Bowl, but is probably coming from too far down than that.
Max Ionacher.
Yeah, there you go.
He's 64 on the board. I think people thought Isaiah World from Oregon would develop and be in this world. He's not. He's not there. He has 63 on the consensus board. Probably ends up he's still in the developmental prospect range. They need a tackle. Freeling's the next pure tackle.
You've also got an Iowa offensive lineman. That's always good.
Dunker.
Yeah. Farm boy strength.
Jennings Dunker.
Everyone loves an Iowa offensive lineman.
Watch the videos of him climbing to the second level and everything. Yeah. I got to watch him closer, but he's probably a guard.
They need everything.
Yeah, they do. They do. Want to go Freeling
24
here?
is pretty high. Sure.
So you got a tackle from Georgia and you got a receiver to protect your Pro Bowl quarterback. Chicago Bears at pick 25. Where do the Bears go here? I'll tell you what, Caden McDonald's intriguing for them.
Yep.
As a line, have I had this discussion before?
I mean, their defensive line still needs reinforcements.
Would you say offensive line?
Defensive line.
Oh, yeah. Caden McDonald, line resetting, nose tackle. Did we give him to them last time? Because I probably said he'll replace Andrew Billings.
We did.
400 pounds of
we
Billings.
We did indeed.
I think we do it again.
You've also got Messidor. That would make some sense.
I got to figure out, because he's a sixth-year player. But, he'd be an interesting pass rusher there. Pick one. I like D-line there.
I mean, I do think that what's his face? Where the hell's he gone? Oh, there we go. Caden McDonald makes, I think that makes the most sense, right?
We're going to do this again?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I mean, we don't like doubling up, but it makes some sense here.
Caden McDonald.
Boston, right?
Denzel Boston.
Done. Eat it, Bean.
Just pressed it. Brandon shows up to the radio station on Friday. You like that? You like that pick? Denzel Boston, wide receiver, Washington.
As soon as he sees this mock, he's going to be straight on the phone to somebody.
Saying what?
Hopefully still PFF.
Do you think we need a receiver? We don't need a receiver. You don't think Josh Palmer could do it next year?
Maybe he's still mad at PFF for things we say. That'd be great.
Probably. You still think Duck Hodges is better than Josh Allen? No, I don't.
Anyway, Bills get their wide receiver help.
Bills get their receiver.
Done.
Jim Leonard, new defensive coordinator there.
It's not helping him.
Interesting. But this won't help him.
No.
We got a receiver for Josh Allen. Niners are up on the clock at pick 27. Mesidor's interesting there.
Yeah.
How many pass rushers? They went second and third round defensive tackles last year, first round.
Yep.
Edge. And all players, I would say, either got hurt or they were okay. Underwhelmed.
I mean, none of them made a huge impact.
Yeah. Do you go back with a Mesidor, knowing Nick Bosa? He's getting older.
Yeah.
He's probably Mesidor's age, but
Well, yeah, that's a tough one where it's a little bit like the Falcons from the year before, where they drafted a bunch of young guys, but not in the first round. Now they got a first round edge rusher.
I don't think you can have too many.
But it's like if none of them make an impact year one, can you rely on them going forward just because they're a year older?
That's exactly how the Falcons did it, right? And they just, all right, we'll go with two.
Yeah,
and they didn't
just go, we've got a bunch of young guys who should get better next year. They went, not only are we going to go get a first rounder, we're going to get two of them.
So then my question, Kristen Miller from Georgia, really interesting player here as well. I think he'd fit. Oh man, if the Texans had him, oh boy, coming up next. But do you go edge with Mesidor? Yeah. What do you think?
I think you can definitely go back to the defensive line, even though they drafted a bunch of them last year. I don't think you saw enough. Plus, I was not in love with the some of the ones that they drafted necessarily, so I think you can swing again.
Mesidor?
Yeah.
Hakeem Mesidor from Miami, edge rusher. I hope we're making this clear enough. Not doing a great job maybe for audio listeners. Who we're picking, where they're coming from school-wise, what we're looking at. But Hakeem Mesidor.
Yeah, we're telling them. I mean,
from the
it's
U.
a little harder to track if you're on audio, but it's there. Oh, man. Houston Texans on the clock at pick number 28.
I want to tell you what I'm dealing with over here, but I can't.
No.
The requests I have coming in.
Don't need them.
The Texans at 28.
Yep.
Christian Miller, the defensive tackle out of Georgia, plays with some heavy, quick hands. Quickness and violence on the defensive line.
These are good things.
That's a Texan.
That's a Texan.
That is a Houston Texan. Miller. I love that fit. Now, discuss anything else you might want. Anyone else you might want here? But if you add him, because I'm not saying they're weak at defensive tackle, but if they add another...
strength on strength.
Yeah, man. If they add someone else to that D-line...
Their offensive line is still very much a work in progress. I think if there's an offensive lineman you felt good about, taking one at the bottom of the first round would absolutely make a ton of sense. You don't love Caden Proctor. Now, he could easily be a guard for them.
Yeah.
I think their best offensive line is a situation where Titus Howard is playing right tackle, so drafting a guard at the bottom of the first wouldn't be crazy.
Proctor could be in play there. Monroe, Freeling, where did so they got pure tackles a couple in the first 2 rounds over the last couple of years. Lee Hunter from Texas Tech is 41, another defensive tackle. 41 on the consensus board. I thought he had an overall good week. Not great. I mean, not perfect, but a good week at the Senior Bowl. Up to 41 on the consensus. I'm just intrigued by Christian Miller.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have somebody that I think is clearly a better option.
Let's go Miller. Get him with Will Anderson, Donnell Hunter, and just boom. Continue to build that defense, wreak havoc on opposing offenses. Los Angeles Rams at 29. We already gave them Jordan Tyson at receiver. Cornerback could be something on the turn here. The turn for them, their second first-rounder, because of the way things fell in the first round.
And there's a bunch of corners.
Brandon Cece from South Carolina. Keith Abney from Arizona State. What else do we have here?
We already mentioned Colton Hood from Tennessee.
Hood's at 33 on the consensus board. Those are the next few up. I know some people really love Abney. I think he's – where is he on the consensus?
How high, the 2 guys to bring up?
45.
Indiana's D'Angelo Pons.
I love Pons.
Right.
He's so small.
Yeah.
I'm curious what he runs to. Like if he's small and runs like a 4.5 or 4.55, he'll go day 3.
Right.
But be a really good potential football player. He'll be like Trey Tomlinson that the Rams drafted.
And then San Diego State's Chris Johnson.
You liked him
Senior Bowl.
quite a bit at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, I cooled on that. I haven't watched his tape since then, but I did like. He looked very good during that week.
Thought his tape was fine. We talked to somebody at the airport. We do all the best discussions and number exchanges and everything happen somewhere between security and then the one place where you could sit and get
What's
food.
the thing? It's because the airport's about 7 seats big, so
that's where all the fun happens in Mobile. I mean, that's like every scout from the Patriots and Broncos were on our flight.
Yeah.
Other NFL media types sitting there.
Shout out to the one that listens.
Shout out to the one Patriot scout who listens. And then he's like, "Hey, you got mock drafts coming up?" So
we do right
listening.
here.
He's listening, and we'll tell you who you're going to take in a minute here for New England. Corner. Let's take a corner. Anything else we would take? Do we talk about Kenyon Sadiq because they need more tight ends?
Yeah, now you go to 14 personnel.
14 personnel for the Rams.
I think corner makes the most sense, right?
I got more work to do on some of the corners, whether it's Cece, Abney. So I don't have a personal favorite.
They've got a couple of
right
good
now.
safeties already.
You want to go Cece from South Carolina?
Sure. Brandon Cece.
My team was in on him in the portal a couple of years ago. Didn't get him.
Didn't get him.
Not working with South Carolina.
So the Rams, 2 picks. Who do we give them for the first pick?
Receiver, Jordan Tyson.
Jordan Tyson, receiver.
We could have gone double Arizona State if we gave him Abney.
And then 29, Brandon Cece from South Carolina, cornerback.
Denver Broncos at 30. Receiver's interesting for them if Casey Concepcion's out there with some speed.
They'd be a really intriguing landing spot for Sadiq as well.
Sadiq.
I mean, they're
future Joker replacement for Evan Ingram.
Exactly. They've been kind of getting it done with Evan Ingram, who's solid, but in the similar mold of Sadiq, I think, as well. Just you'd be getting younger, and
this is where the Broncos. I got to look at their roster a little bit closer as far as contracts go. But this is what we dealt with last year with the Broncos, right? You look up and down their roster. You're like, the defensive line's deep. They have 5 starters on the offensive line. They've already invested in receiver a little bit. They've got a great secondary. Give them a tight end, right? They're the roster where you look up and down. And last year, every mock draft gave them a tight end, and then they signed Evan Ingram in free agency, and then it was like, all right, they have no holes. And then they go and draft a corner in round 1 and Jahdae Barron, and they draft their running back in round 2 and RJ Harvey, and it's like that was like the only need that they may have had was running back.
Right.
So it's just a good, solid overall roster, which obviously just made it to the Final Four. Could have been in the Super Bowl if their starting quarterback was there. Mm-hmm. So my point is, I think you're going to see a lot of Sadiq and filler picks.
I mean, I think
non-need type of picks.
I think Sadiq made a lot of sense for them. But yeah, they could go anywhere.
Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end out of Oregon, good playmaker. He could run block a little bit, but he's a athletic tight end.
He's also one that we can use the "I was there" play, right? Didn't he make a couple of big plays, bunch of big plays, against Penn State and in the Lucas Oil, right in front of us?
Right in front of us. We were there. He jumped over a dude on Penn State, and he was the backup tight end. He was the complimentary tight end to Terrence Ferguson.
And you're like, that guy looks pretty legit.
Yeah.
Turns out he is.
I just used eye emojis in my notes. Here we are, first rounder next year. Patriots are up at 31. Listen up.
Now, the good thing is, by the time this comes out, we can't be wrong yet.
Yeah. Right now, we're going to project the Patriots at 31, Seahawks at 32, simply because that's the spread.
Last time when we were doing this, we were wrong by the time the thing came out.
Sure were.
Just because it was unfortunate. The game was being played between us recording and the thing coming out. This time, we cannot be wrong yet. We may still be wrong when it gets to Super Bowl Sunday. But when you're listening to this, we can't be wrong.
All right, I'm going to make a play here. Last year, we soft launched the Jaden Higgins first round wide receiver move.
Oh, I know where you're going. Yeah.
Senior Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, you don't though.
I do.
You don't because it's a non-Senior Bowl guy. Where'd you think I was going?
What's the point in a non-Senior Bowl guy?
Malachi Fields.
Yeah.
Is that what you're going to say?
Fields for first round.
Oh man, I was going to say Chris Bell from Louisville. You didn't get to watch him. In person. Now, if I really,
how far down do I got to scroll to get to Fields? Quite a way.
Fields is 60 on the consensus board. If you really wanted to make a statement here, Steve.
Oh, I got to get to the second page.
Omar Cooper from Indiana would be the guy. If I was really trying to make a statement, guy that I really liked, to get him in the first round.
How far down do I have to scroll? There we go. 97.
Yeah, we're probably not going to put Fields in the first round.
Wait, hang on. I saw somebody else other than me was floating that recently.
We went from Higgins.
They may be just as insane.
Maybe second round for Higgins. And then before you know, we're like, what about Buffalo?
I mean, look, based off, I think we had a case.
Maybe they should have. Plus, Steve Smith just gave him a P for dog.
Did you find out what that meant?
No, I wasn't going to dig in any further. But
you 60 on the consensus board.
I think it just means participated in being a dog.
Being a dog?
Yeah.
60 on the consensus board, 97 on the PFF board. So, it's a bit of a jump
just make inside
to get to Malachi Fields. But he made the play of the week, and he looked good.
We're not putting him in the first round for this. Chris Bell from Louisville, though, you could A.J. Brown body type, physicality, and speed.
All right. Yeah.
Chris Bell from Louisville is what I wanted to do.
That's what you want to put in the first round?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry I got you excited about Fields. You can't get that excited. I like him, though. Every time you watch Notre Dame, though.
It's a Senior Bowl overreaction show.
Play. It is.
It's the post-Senior Bowl overreaction mock draft.
If that's the case, what do we overreact to? We found a great lunch place. So we locked into our dinner spot and breakfast.
Well, then we got to put John Carroll in the first round
until day 3.
Also, why is Bud Clark so lowly ranked? He was awesome.
I'll get him to Seattle.
Jacob Rodriguez. We got all kinds of linebackers we get in the first round.
Go Jacob Rodriguez to the Seahawks.
Yes.
Make that statement. Oh, Kyle Lewis.
Yeah.
He should be going to Seattle at 32. Let's make a statement.
Are we taking Chris Bell with the Patriots pick?
I would.
Okay, let's do it.
PFF has Kyle Lewis at 161.
Wow. That's even worse than Fields.
I mean, but he'll be another hybrid. Like, he's small enough to be a safety.
But where's
Kyle Lewis is 121 on the consensus board.
That's a little. You can't tell me I can't put Fields in there, and then you want to put.
Rodriguez is 90.
Oh, come on. His take.
Are we going Chris Bell?
I already did it.
Sweet.
So Seahawks up at pick number 32. The Rodriguez. There's a clip out there. I forget who was Marcus Mosher or Billy.
It was Mosher.
One of them was putting these out. In fact, they both were putting them out, but I forget which one was putting this specific one out.
This one was Mosher.
But Rodriguez reps, all the one-on-ones put together, was really interesting because I think Greg Olson said this on one of the broadcasts, but, we were talking about when you get these running backs and they run these angle routes, it's basically impossible for a linebacker. You got no shot. It's a two-way go. The guy's more athletic than you are. You're boned. And what he was saying is that Luke Kuechly would say, always make him cut out. Like, line yourself up and cheat inside. So it's still a two-way go, but you're basically saying go outside with the alignment, right?
Longer throw, got to throw through.
Right, because it's a harder throw to make, and just by that reason alone, it's more difficult for the quarterback to make the play. If you let him inside, it's easy. It's pitch and catch, and you're screwed. Rodriguez was playing every snap that way. Like, he lined up so hard inside that if the guy ever tried to break inside, he just ran into him.
So he was cheating a little bit.
Well, no, because he's not. Because I think he's right. Like, I think Kuechly's onto something. Take the two-way go away. Stop it being a two-way go, and then all you're doing is anticipating the outbreak and try and break on it. Like, take away the fact that you could be screwed in either direction and just say, I'm taking away inside. You are going outside, and then all I'm doing is waiting for you to make your move, and I'm going to try and undercut it or break it up or jump on it at the same kind of way. So I think he just played it smartly.
I agree. So it was Moshe that put up the Kyle Lewis, all his plays.
Okay.
Whereas, like, this is the best linebacker play I've ever seen. And
yeah. For like 5, it was...
For all the one-on-ones, it was incredible.
Well, it was like 5 straight reps that were basically perfect.
Yeah.
It went a little bit off the rails later, but...
He did lose a few, but, like, you're supposed to lose 80% of them.
All of them, yeah. But for, like, the first 5 reps or whatever, it was perfect.
All that said, Seattle's on the clock.
Yes.
I don't have a great fit here.
And they're probably not going either of those guys on the basis that consensus they're in the 3rd round.
So corner's interesting here because Tariq Woolen's a free agent. Keith Abney's up here. Who's next on the board as well?
They could also go Caden Proctor, offensive guard.
They could. Maybe he competes with Bradford at right guard. Is Bradford done? I don't have the contract. Chris Johnson at corner. Colton Hood to replace Tariq Woolen.
Stylistically, it's kind of similar, yeah.
Why don't we do that?
You want to do that?
D'Angelo Pons, if you really want to make a statement. He has 49 on the consensus board, Pons.
Yeah, so it's not that low.
Dude, just a baller.
Right.
That's who Seattle's drafted recently.
I mean,
just good, awesome
Devin Witherspoon.
football players.
Witherspoon was under all of their athletic, usual box ticking deals, and they just went to hell with it. He's awesome.
Point. Go Pons here.
You want Pons in the first round?
It's too small. Go Hood.
All right. We're taking Hood. What is this?
Colton Hood
statistical profile
to the Seattle Seahawks. I pressed it.
You pressed it? Well, it's done then.
I guess it's done.
There we go. I pressed it too.
Oh, Zion, I just saw Zion Young. He could be in the first round.
It's too late. It's done.
Zion Young could be in the first round.
We're getting our draft
We should have given
graded.
him Zion.
They didn't grade it because they don't do that.
Young had a really nice week for Missouri. He might sneak up into the first round. I think it's a good mock. It's a good mock draft.
Sure.
This will tide you over for the week.
It's a thought experiment.
Leading up to the yeah, we're just thinking out loud.
Just experimenting with thoughts
for maximum views. It's clickbait, is what it really is. No, it's not. So that's it for us. Do you want to recap anything else? Senior Bowl week. Every time you talk to a general manager on the sideline, they get fired.
Every time? No, that's not true.
You're 1 for 1.
I'm not
this week.
No, well, this depends. Does a former GM count?
No. They don't have a job to lose.
Well, that's what I mean. I can't get him fired. He's already been.
All I know is on Thursday you're talking to Kwesi, and Friday he's fired.
Sure. I feel like I don't feel like that was my fault.
I don't know. They saw him on the sideline. Like, you're getting input from that guy. Get out of here.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I just wanted to shout out one of our listeners that we contacted because they won one of the bets. I'm not going to read out his whole name because they probably don't want that, but a guy called Sean has been battling cancer this year, apparently. So we have donated as a show to Cancer Care as a charity. They actually said, no, don't send me any merch, but I've been grinding through cancer. If you guys would make a donation instead, that would be awesome.
Because he won one of the bets.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. So we've donated as a show. We're also going to send him the merch as well, though. When he gets back to us. But if anyone else out there wants to make a donation to Cancer Care as a charity, they are one that we looked up and have a really good, charity rating or whatever. All the money goes to the right places, all that kind of stuff. So, or any cancer charity of your choosing, I'm sure that would go down very well. But thoughts and prayers out to him. Hopefully he keeps doing well and battling through it and gets to the other side of this thing.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Sean. We appreciate, it's wild that we get statements that like, hey, I was going through a tough time and you guys entertained me and or whatever it may have been, that we were able to help, ramble during tough times. Happy to help in any way that we can. Mm-hmm. And certainly it doesn't, just humbling to be a part of that. So appreciate you, Sean. And I will send that stuff out. And anyone else that could donate and be a part of that, we appreciate you guys as well.
Yep.
Good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. We're on a plane to San Francisco, and we're just going to do it up. Super Bowl week leading up to this Sunday. Full watch-along, so make sure you're with us. Watch-along right on the couches over here. We'll be back in the studio. So we're here Monday through Saturday out in San Francisco. We'll come back for the game and watch the game with you. We gave up. This is what we did. Gave up our game day credentials to be with you.
Now, it turns out the way we're being treated this year anyway, we may have been bumped.
It's a good chance they would have said, hey, we ran out.
Turns out there's not enough space in the stadium. You guys aren't getting tickets this year?
We'll talk about that this week. They may have run out of tables.
In the last, is it
the Bugler will investigate.
Yeah, I think you should.
The Bugler will. Do you have bring the fedora?
I'm not bringing the fedora. No.
You have to bring.
Can't bring the no.
You have to bring the Bugler needs to investigate.
You can't bring
the number of tables
on the plane. I can't. No.
Pack it.
I can't pack it. You can't pack a hat like that in a suitcase.
That's why we didn't get it.
That's why they have hat boxes. You can't take that in a case.
We got to investigate the table situation.
In the last 3 years,
to know
right?
How many tables there are, who got tables over us, but we have been denied a table, a piece of furniture.
I think in the last 3 years, we've gone from full table to ourselves, half table, split with somebody, to there are no tables. You guys are just reporters at large. You can get in the room, but you can't sit anywhere.
So the Bugler will investigate the table situation, the space situation. We're allowed in.
Right.
We just have no place to sit and record.
We
Luckily, we didn't have full shows planned.
So we're going to be walking around with cameras on a stick.
And the first order of business is to figure out, like if El Paso Radio has table over us, and we figure out who to complain to.
It is going to be interesting to see with the greatest of respect to everybody in the room.
No offense to El Paso.
What the crappiest table is that still takes precedence over us.
Like Seth Payne's going to have a table. We won't.
Well, he's got like a proper radio show and stuff.
I know.
But there's going to be based off previous experience, there's like student unions in there that have tables, and we're not getting one apparently.
Borrow JT the Brick's space. Borrow his table.
We should just rock up to one of the people that have like a full living room set there. We're going to record here for the next hour. Chill.
If there is a full living room set taking up half the place.
If there is. Of course there is. Half the thing is people like creating their entire living room there.
We'll have a full report, the Bugler. All right, that's it for us. We're off. Enjoy the mock draft. Wednesday, game preview. Sunday, watch along. Happy Super Bowl week.